Like everything was perfect. And then COVID hit. Offices kept on closing. So we kept on going through these valleys. And at the end, I was so tired. But sometimes you need to reach bottom to push yourself up.
Mik Strøyberg is a multi-venture entrepreneur known for building companies that scale across borders. He founded Lemon Squeeze, the platform that helped European startups break into the US market and establish a strong presence in New York's competitive tech scene. He later launched Good Monday, a fast-growing office management platform that secured multi-million-dollar funding and expanded internationally.
With a track record of high-growth ventures and features in leading business media, he relocated to Sri Lanka with his family to live a values-driven life.
Mik, thanks for coming in. My first impression when I met you was men want to be him, women want to be with him. You were kind of like this fast-growing guy with lots of charisma, good energy, coming home from New York, just sold the company. What was the journey like?
Can you repeat that? So women wanted to be with me and men wanted to be me?
Yes, that's the thing you say about James Bond, Brad Pitt, and
that is so way too much. And I don't concur, but like I went home.
Wife, beautiful kids.
I'm
like
happy.
A cool career.
Like I'm super happy, but again, I have my life. You have your life. Everyone has their life. I almost have more people that I want to be like, mainly because of values or wherever they're heading. And I feel like our life we're just following the road that's paved in front of us. So right now we went to New York, we went back to Denmark, and now we're living in Sri Lanka. And we're doing whatever we need to do based on where the family values, where they bring us. And we're together in all of this. We're a big family. I have 2 kids. I have Ferdinand, 11. I have Skylar, that's 8. And then I have my wife, Marie-Louise, who's doing a tremendous job of facilitating people in their journey throughout yoga and meditation. And I'm just there, like part of the journey and being part of it.
How was the journey going from Denmark to New York, setting it up there, chasing a lot of like external success, then back to Denmark again, raising money from a company, then Sri Lanka? That's a lot of life changes or lives to have lived that many people dream about. Can you kind of take us on the journey of like the ups and downs of those things that people might be dreaming about? Like what's the real story of living in New York away from family and friends?
I can tell you, the real story is not the story of a dream. When it comes to raising money, for example, like again, doing Lemon Squeeze, we got sold to Notel at a good place, and Issue got sold, and happy that Good Monday got sold. But raising money, being a part of the ecosystem of being a venture guy that suddenly gets more millions that they need, and being able to hire 50 people plus, scaling their company, it sounds like a gift, but it's kind of not. Like it's also an obligation. Now you need to actually produce something. You have to be something, and you have to be something for others. And you want to be there for yourself. You also want to be there for your wife and your kids and everyone else. But it's difficult because there's so many things that is attached. So when we moved from New York to Copenhagen, Sri Lanka, there was a lot of different attachments. And the reason why we did the last move was because I couldn't anymore. I needed space to make sure that I knew my own journey more than others' journey, because I've been raising money based on other people more than my own journey and where I needed to go. So the last part is actually the fun part. But that, again, I'm 40 plus. So you get the opportunity to do something else.
I see a lot of entrepreneurs now looking at, instead of going the fundraising route, wanting to do more the bootstrapping or building a company they can control instead of the external pressure from the investors, and you can actually build a healthy company. Is that part of the journey you're on as well?
Yeah. But again, I'm extremely I'm lucky that right now I can step into several companies, and being liquidity wise, which is kind of like a COVID thing, but having your liquidity under control, making sure you build a healthy company instead of a ramped up scale company is something that's new to a lot of people. Back in the days, spending more than you have was cool. Today, spending less than what you have and having your P&L under control is actually relatively cool. So I'm doing the new cool.
Yes.
Even though I'm a boomer and super old. I shouldn't be doing it, but I'm still in a place where it's. I feel like if you're building a company that has the right values, with the right mindset, with the right purpose and direction, you don't need money to do it, because if you need money, you don't have the right product or service. So I'm building companies in a new way.
And tell me about the move from Denmark to Sri Lanka. Many people dream about going somewhere warm. I myself went 2 winters to Dominican Republic, and for me it was absolutely paradise, but it was just too far away. So we're looking more at going to Portugal. We're going there for 6 months now here in October.
Yeah.
Like, how's the move to Sri Lanka? And why Sri Lanka?
Like the long story or the short story, or the short story long?
Let's try the long story, because I know there's a lot of interesting aspects.
Yeah, so the long story long. It was extremely difficult for me going through COVID. I think Good Monday actually broke me. It was such a hard time, because we had something, we knew we had something, everything was going in the right direction, but I couldn't control it because of COVID. And when COVID hit, for us, we were building services for offices. Offices kept on closing. We didn't have one closing, we had like 5. So we kept on going through these valleys, and we couldn't raise new money because it was too difficult, because our office is going to open up again, ever. Like everything was perfect, and then COVID hit. I went through everything with my employees. I had conversations from here to the end of the world, and it was so difficult. And at the end, I was so tired. So even though we sold to Diaz at like a bargain price, because they just took over, we didn't make any money on it. I was just tired. I had nothing left. And this were like my 4th or 5th startup. And my wife said, like, you're too tired. You look tired.
What were those signs? Do you have like tracking?
Yeah, like tons of times. Like, again, I track everything. I do everything. But it's pretty easy to track when you suddenly faint in your living room.
Yeah.
Or you're not there, or you don't. Your kids are there, but you're not there. There's a lot of signs.
Yeah. What about someone sitting and listening that might not see the signs? Like,
but you don't. So that's the whole thing. I would love to give a lecture on how, I don't know, life can be hard. Or anxiety, depression, whatever it could be. Even though you're successful, beautiful kids, beautiful wife, beautiful life in general, you still have like this no feeling of belonging, or something that's missing, but you can't teach anyone. And that's why, like, I think I've used it a few times. I can't even know who said it the first time, but sometimes you need to reach bottom to push yourself up. And my wife, bless her soul, was waiting for me to actually reach bottom, because when you've been in surplus for a long time, you're the one handling everything. You're in control. You do stuff. But when you're not, you let go of a ton of things. And that is devastating for someone that's close to you. So when we moved to Sri Lanka, the whole thing was not moving away to get away from anything. It was how to figure out with the problems, or whatever I was fighting, to bring it to Sri Lanka so we could fight it there, where there was space, more than letting go of it and seeing if we could like disappear, because you can't. So we took the problems to Sri Lanka, where there was space, where there was nature, where there was oceans and waves, and nobody expected anything. And then kind of untied the knot. And I think that was the beautiful thing. We didn't try to see if we could escape whatever was happening. We didn't try to outrun any problems. We took the problems and said, like, let's handle this in a place where we're secure.
And that's hard with all the noise at home. I guess it must also, like, with all the expectations, people knowing you, like, that's also the backside of becoming.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, expectations also built on yourself. And the configuration of your own appearance is often also just totally off. But sometimes you build it up because it creates the expectation that you want yourself, because you're creating a brand, within a positioning. Super difficult. Like, who am I? And I think one of the things of moving to Sri Lanka, which I think is one of the most beautiful things, is actually suddenly getting to know yourself. Like being true and being close to yourself. I'm an introvert, been acting like an extrovert for 20 years. And everybody's kind of like, you're so extroverted. Kind of like, no, I'm not. I like being home. I like being alone. I like being with my kids. But you get like this, like often if you're good at something, that's where you're at. And I'm extremely great at being on a stage. I love speaking with other people, but I get exhausted extremely fast, which means it's not part of my DNA. So we can have this conversation, but afterwards, like in 20 minutes, I'm going to be exhausted like fuck because I have nothing left. I'm done. An extrovert wouldn't be. No. They would go out with the high. I'm not. I'm going out with the low, but I gave everything and I loved it, but I'm not built for it. But I'm extremely great at it. Sometimes.
And that's what you described.
Or apparently people think some think I am, yeah.
And was that in Sri Lanka like that the quietness gave you the opportunity to actually see that? Or were you already aware of that?
No, I was kind of aware of it. I think I know where I can do something special for others. And I'm not special. I can't do anything that is spectacular in any degree. But every time I have a new company or a new person, new founder, I can help them in a direction. But I also know my own limits. And I think that's like part of being older. I don't know. Growing up.
Becoming mature.
Becoming a man. Like becoming something where you actually, you don't pretend anymore. And I think the whole thing about pretending, I sleep well at night. I haven't. But right now I sleep extremely well. And it's because I know exactly what I'm giving and what I'm taking. I know who I am for who. And that's a big thing.
What were some of the things that helped in that journey? Like you go to Sri Lanka. I guess you didn't just wake up and then you were like, this is who I am.
But that's actually exactly what happened. So when we got there, there was no one and there was nothing. And we sold everything. So we had nothing. So just waking up in Sri Lanka, not having anything, sold everything, sold the company, sold everything. I just stepped through for the first time in like 4 years. So it was just a new belonging. I almost want to call it some kind of awakening. I hadn't slept for 4 hours in a row. The first night in Sri Lanka, I slept for 9 hours. That's the first time in 3 years. Everything was new.
But that's massive if you haven't slept for that long. Like you must feel like a new human when you then actually get the 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah. But that's also where you can't guide people. Because what I experienced, and that's why I keep on saying, like, I can't give any answers. I don't know the direction. I don't want to give anyone any clues on what to do. It worked for me.
Yeah.
And whatever worked for me is worked for me. But I can't tell people like move to Sri Lanka. Like you can do whatever you want. This worked for me, and it worked for my family and my kids. And I was worried like that I couldn't be enough for my kids because even though I'm a provider, even though I start businesses, even though I pay the bills, I still just want to be there for my kids. I want to make sure they're proud. I want to make sure they can play football with their father. I want to make sure that we do stuff together that is extremely important. And I wasn't able to for a long period of time. Moving to Sri Lanka, that's all I do. At the same time, I start more and more companies because the energy is just going up. The flow is better. The way that I interact with the world is better. But I can't tell people to move to Sri Lanka to do the same. This is me. It's my experience.
Why did you guys choose Sri Lanka of all the places in the world?
It's a fucked up story. But again, so we were in a place where I was in a bad place. I needed something else. My wife has always been a good place because she has everything under full control. I think she's had everything under full control her entire life. But living with someone like me, super difficult. Kids had everything under control. So all we had was me that needed something else. Then someone posted on Facebook that if we took care of her cats, then we could live there for free from March to July. So we booked tickets from January 1st to August 1st, because then we knew that we only had to rent a house for 3 months, and then we had the other house. But apparently, we didn't get the other house. So we actually moved there. None of us had been to Sri Lanka. We didn't know anything, but we did it anyways. And then the kids just fell in love with it, with the waves, with the people, with the no screens, with everything. And then we stayed.
I heard you in another podcast as well, where you talked about the values for the kids.
Yeah.
From being in Copenhagen, caring about the brand of the shoes, to now just wanting to go surf.
They don't care. They don't care anymore. Like, all they care about is the relationships that they're in. And it's such a weird thing because, not the contradiction, but like, there's something that is so valuable, and I wish that my life could have been like the life that they're living right now, because it's so painless and it's so valuable, and it's based on true values. And it's super difficult for me to pinpoint it, but I remember my first crush. I remember when I needed new sneakers. I remember when I needed something else. But they're in a place where I think they're going to be so much older than me before they get the first part of that part.
That's fantastic.
Maybe.
I think definitely like the being closer to nature, and instead of being caught up with like what you're wearing and so on, is very healthy for kids.
Yeah.
Having the chance to actually wait with that and just being a kid and playing for a longer time.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, when you ask a kid, the reason why the screen is there and the reason why they were actually addicted, or at least they need it so much, is because what else is there to do? Often it's either parents not being available enough, or it's friends not being too far away, or something else. But if you're surfing 8 hours a day, you're not looking at a screen. So there's just something in when the kindergarten, or in Denmark we call it the klubben, when the after-school activity is based on you going skim surfing, or you're going surfing, wave surfing, doing something else, then there's no screen. Nobody has a screen. So it's kind of like just being kids. And I couldn't wish for anything else for my kids than this. This makes me so happy that I'm almost exploding of happiness.
And how is your routine? Like, when I was living in Dominican Republic,
yeah,
I had the pleasure of either going surfing for like half an hour in the morning, or doing some work, and then working intensely, and then going out for like an hour of surf and back. And that was enough to fill up my cup. Yeah. And I've actually got a lot of stuff done. Yeah. But I also felt I lived a lot more. Yeah. And the energy was there, and people were just like happy, easygoing. How is your day-to-day looking?
Yeah, so my day-to-day, we just changed the routine a bit, but I can take you through the old routine, like 2 months ago. So I bring the kids to school. They're there at 8. Then I go to my gym, and then I work out for an hour and a half with local Sri Lankans, and all of them they're fabulous. Like, it's the best community you can ever build. It's kind of like within the whole neighborhood of what we're doing, because everybody knows each other and nobody's going across borders. We're all just helping each other. Then I went swimming, not far, but like a kilometer, and then surfing for an hour. Then I'm back at 11:15, which means like 3 hours and a half behind. Everybody's getting up in Europe. So now I'm actually there when they get up, ready to do everything, but I'm already ahead of life. I've had the morning with my kids. We had breakfast. I took them to school. I worked out. I swimmed and I surfed. And now European day life starts. And then at the end, it's kind of like, how come we can always get a hold of you? It's because I go to bed at 9 in the evening, which is 6 o'clock. But for European companies, there's a lot of them. They leave jobs at 6. So, but I'm always there. So if they leave at 10, I don't care. I'm always there. So I'm online from they get up to they leave work. And I get my entire life in just before they actually enter their workplace. So I feel like I'm ahead of everything. And then we're lucky. Like we have I buy fresh tuna on the way home. I make lunch for my wife. We make at 6 a.m. every morning. My wife and we go for a walk. It's not long, but it's like 7-8 kilometers, and we get everything out of the way. So it's like our therapy. And then the kids wake up. So we've done a ton of stuff before the kids woke up. When the kids woke up and they're in school, we do a ton of stuff. And then when Europe wakes up, we're almost done. It's kind of like we can call it a day. But they just woke up.
But then you work almost till you go to bed.
Nope. Then I work for 3 hours, pick up my kids and go surfing with them. And then I have 2 hours afterwards where I do the final part of my workday.
Okay.
No. So I have the entire midday with my kids. No. So my kids is everything. That's why we moved. So we get like everything out there.
Yeah. So then you basically work less hours, but make sure you still get the healthy stuff in, and then the hours that you're providing are then super effective because you're coming with a full class.
Yeah, but we can talk about working less hours. I think that's an important part. When I do 1 hour work at 6 to 7 with my wife, there's no earphones. We don't do anything. What we discuss is, what do we want to get out of the day? And my wife is doing yoga, meditation, and so forth. I'm doing tech companies and scale-ups. But we're discussing whatever she needs to discuss, whatever I need to discuss. When I'm getting in, I haven't listened to a podcast. I haven't listened to music. I haven't done anything that is disrupting the pattern of what I need to get out of the day. But I've discussed it with a person that I feel is extremely capable of giving me the right advice. So when I sit down before I go to the gym, before I wake up my kids, I'm in front of the world. I know what I need to do. And I've thought about the companies that I need to help. So there's just so many things that I'm getting out there where other people, but let's just take Copenhagen. They take a run around the legs and they listen to an album or a podcast, Genstart, whatever it is. And then they haven't thought about what they actually need to do. What we do is we take out our earphones. We never take in our earphones. We discuss, okay, how can we make a difference? And I think that's a big thing. People have too many, I'm not a big believer of I know that it's nice to listen to music or podcast, but I also know that it's limiting you from actually going out there and being creative.
I think it's very easy to get in the loophole of just constantly consuming and not implementing.
Yeah.
And constantly being distracted. So I had a long time actually where I stopped listening to podcasts. I was like, I've already learned enough things. Now I don't need any more input.
Yeah.
I just need to do the things that I know I have to do.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably 3 years where I stopped listening to podcasts, and then now I'm ready to take some input in again. But it's very easy just to get distracted all the time.
It is. Super easy.
And then
sometimes you want to be distracted, like you want to have someone tell you something so you don't have to have a clear thought because you're tired. Like you're fed up with whatever happens in life. But when you're not, because you're in a healthy place, it's awesome.
What are some other routines that you swear by now?
Yeah, so we have morning routines, walking. We have fitness routines, that's always there. Kids needs at least 5 hours with our time to make sure we're there. And night routines to make sure that we get at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. 10 hours for our kids, 8 hours for us. Those are routines we are not going to change at any point.
And what about the last hour before you go to bed? Is that then working, or that's away from screens?
No. So I'm always working, and often the kids and my wife go to bed at the same point. I would love to say that I'm not, but I'm always working. So often I actually get to bed after them.
Okay.
I wish I could go to bed earlier, but I'm in a place where if there is certain routines that needs to be done, I need to do it later.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, we all went to bed at 9.
Yeah.
And when we can, we'll do it. So sometimes I just check out if there's nothing that needs to be done.
And one of the things you're working on today is Hey Neighbor.
Yeah.
And what other projects are like the main ones?
But like Hey Neighbor is actually the main one.
Yeah.
Because it's such a deep, connective thing. because we live, now we're in your apartment, like we're in this place. We're so close to people without creating the community around why to actually be in this community. And often we proclaim to know whoever we're living next to, but often it's just an address. It's 2B or 78 or anything else. But maybe they know your future wife. Maybe they are your future running buddy, or maybe they have the next job or anything else. And when I look at Sri Lanka, when I looked at New York, where the biggest thing was actually getting a community was like number one on the radar, we're not doing enough to actually get there. And we're getting more and more lonesome because the digital community of actually me being behind a screen makes me just want to lock the door and be whoever I am with me. What we're doing right now with Hey Neighbor is making sure that technology can take you out and meet other people. And I think for me, for my kids, for everyone, we just need to be out there, meet more people.
I think that loneliness and actually seeing people physically is so key. Like for us here, so this is newly built, so everyone kind of moved in at the same time. So everyone has been out like saying hey and so on. And that feeling of knowing each other, many people have dogs here as well, so you kind of have that thing together. It makes it very different to live here because you know each other.
Yeah.
But we don't have those shared dinners yet. My partner talked about whether we should organize one.
Yeah.
And I saw like the software is also where you can have those different things to communicate and get people out.
Like everything is within. So there's 5 different steps or ladders. So you need to communicate. You need to be able to share. You need to be able to create groups. You need to be able to create events around whatever is happening. And then you need the files to make sure, like, can I have a dog? Can I have a cat? Whatever is happening. So you have everything in one order. But just saying hi to each other is such a powerful thing. I said hi to a guy when I was walking down the street at, not Købmagergade, but the other one, where he was standing out the window and drinking a cup of coffee. And I yelled like, good morning. And he yelled good morning back. I felt his good morning, but he also felt my good morning. Like I was heard, I was seen. We don't know how much it means. And I know that we're technology, where what I'm saying right now is not scalable. It's not going to, we're not going to become a unicorn based on it. But how powerful is it that the interaction between people, I see you, you see me, we're meeting each other in a space where we don't need to. And I think with Hey Neighbor and being close to your neighbors, that's something that I really want to relay on.
Makes sense. But it, like as you say, the small hello. Just
the small hello.
We're not doing it as much in Denmark. I've posted about it several times, like trying to just go for a walk and just smile and say hey to people you walk past. You'll actually get surprisingly many smiles back, and a few people think you're kind of odd.
Yeah.
Where people are like, why are you saying hey to me?
Yeah.
But many people actually light up if you just like, hey.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah. I say good morning to everyone that I meet.
Yeah.
And often they're surprised or they're scared.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. Because I would, like, if I was in a different mindset, I would be in the same way.
Yeah.
But right now, I just know that it actually makes a difference. So even though they're scared, they still feel heard.
Yeah. Yeah, they got seen.
Yeah.
But I think the physical is so important. Like, that's also like what we do with the weekend retreats.
Yeah.
I see getting people physically together.
Yeah.
They hand in their phone on the Friday, and they get it back again on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And that being without your phone for a weekend, that in itself makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because you're present with people there, right?
Yeah.
The first day on the Friday, people are like putting their hands to their pocket to kind of figure out, oh, where's my phone?
Yeah.
And then on the Sunday, people are like, oh, actually, like, can we leave the phone a little bit longer?
Because you can actually see it. So you can see when you're having a conversation and they start looking down, it's because I feel like I need something else. And it's because they need to be fulfilled in a way that's so difficult. Because you can't fulfill them in the conversation you're in right now. They need to get small other impressions. A pandemic.
Yeah. But I also see a lot of people are becoming aware of it.
Yeah.
I try to also leave my phone in a drawer.
Yeah.
So that I'm more present at home. Because otherwise it's very easy. Like suddenly you get like that little thought, or you see the phone and you think about something work and you just want to check it. It just becomes a habit, at least for me, where I was like, it's life going away from the most important people in my life into something that doesn't matter.
True.
And it's like, I often do for workshops as well, where we like actually go and look at your screen time. And almost everyone is like, shit, that's not how I want to use my life.
No.
What about for someone that might want to move to Sri Lanka or somewhere else?
Wherever in the world.
What? Wherever in the world?
Yeah, wherever they want to move.
What are some criteria that might be useful to look at for designing the life that fits to?
Again, we didn't look at anything when we moved. We just moved. I think the most important thing is like having zero expectations is pretty important. Knowing the true values of what you want to achieve is everything. So if I should give an advice to burned out founder who done well, but on a new path, I would say walk 20,000 steps a day, sleep minimum 8 hours a day, and laugh at a minimum 1 hour with your kids. And then you're in a good place. That's it. If you do that for 3 months, you're a changed new person. You're someone else. And if you come from a place where you haven't done this, it's going to rock your world so much that you're going to sound like you're almost religious when you tell other people that it worked. And they're all going to say like you're a fucking idiot, but it worked. And it's like those details, just those 5 things, it changes the world. We haven't even talked about lifting one weight. But when that happens, you go through the atmosphere because suddenly you become a person where you can't figure out who you were. Like looking back at the person you thought was the person you thought you were, like looking in the mirror and then seeing the new one, you're kind of like, I have no clue. How did this happen? And that's a big thing. So moving, no matter where you're moving, also if you're moving from Copenhagen to Stockholm or wherever it is, instead of just thinking about moving yourself, if you move yourself from 10,000 to 20,000 steps, if you move yourself from 100 grams of protein to 200, if you move yourself from exercising or lifting weights 1 day a week to 5 days a week, if you move yourself from laughing 10 minutes to an hour and a half with your kids, like those movements, no matter if you move, like you don't have to go to another country, move those things. That matters.
And if someone has been dreaming about moving somewhere else,
I
know many people,
they should just do it. They shouldn't be thinking about it. You should just do it. Like again, let's just take this. I don't know who's listening to this podcast, but let's just say they're from the Nordics. We're all so resourceful. If it doesn't work, we'll do something else. It's difficult. If you're from Sri Lanka, you can't even go to Denmark. Your passport won't allow it. We're from a place where we can go wherever we want. And we make everything happen because we come from a good school, good parents, good education. We have a background where we believe in each other. We have a supportive network. So we can do whatever we want. The reason why we're scared is because we measure ourselves with people that we think we should be aligned with. And it doesn't matter. How many times out of how many do you think said that it was a stupid decision for us to move to Sri Lanka?
A lot? Or
Zero. Zero said that it was stupid, right? So no one said, what are you doing? Everyone was kind of like, we want to do it. Everyone wants to do it. Nobody's doing it. When we did it, there was no fear because what could go wrong? Like the worst thing is that we go back to paradise, which is the Nordics. Like we're so lucky that we were born in paradise. So the worst thing that could ever happen is us going back to paradise. So now we move to the new paradise and knowing the fallback was the old paradise. Hey, don't be so scared.
No, I mean, like every time when I've talked about Dominican Republic going there, then we've been to Spain or Portugal, people are like, wow, I wish we should do that as well. And like, oh, but now we have the kids at this age. People always have a million excuses. And kind of wants to do it, right? But like you went there and your kids are actually doing really well. So you don't always have to be that afraid of the kids.
No, but again, if they didn't want to stay, but they wanted to stay after 3 months. But you also have to remember, people think about the worst case is that it doesn't work out in a new place. The worst case, scenario is losing your wife or your husband because you grow old into a pattern that's not right. What we're doing is right now, we're trying to change the pattern, because what if we got divorced? That would be worse. Like, our kids would be devastated. If our kid, like, let's just say both kid doesn't evolve, we're not giving them like the gift of being a kid and actually evolving in whatever they do. So we need to be there for them, and we need to be there for each other. And I feel often people are afraid that whatever we have, they take it for granted. So if we stay here, we're always going to be married. Our kids are always going to be happy. That's not a thing. Like, you take something for granted, that's not a true thing. What if we stay, they're going to be miserable? What if we stay, we're going to get divorced? If we move, it's going to be super hard, but we're going to stay together, and our kids are going to evolve. That's a powerful thing. But it takes balls.
Or a really strong woman that says, honey,
yeah. But again, my
like
wife is like the entire, like, again, extremely lucky that I could create companies.
Yeah.
But extremely lucky to have a wife that is so powerful. Then when I say, like, I'm done, she says, like, okay, then I'll take over.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
For sure.
So she just took over the whales, and now she's running the company, right? Which is our family.
What are some of the things that look amazing from the outside, but it's a little bit more challenging when you live a place like Sri Lanka? So people see the beautiful pictures and thinking surf and so on. What should someone be aware of if going a place like that?
Yeah, but we don't have any. Like, we've really tried. And it's not because we're selling Sri Lanka. I don't care where people move. But for us, we don't have any. It's super difficult. Like, you don't have the supermarket. You don't have convenience in any way. But again, it's difficult for us. We can't pinpoint anything. When you buy half a kilo of fresh tuna that gets directly in from the harbor, it's 24 Danish crowns, which is like $3. And then you have half a kilo of sashimi tuna. We don't need anything else. We have toilet paper. People are happy. People are supporting us and helping us. We can't put a finger on it. The only thing is family and friends. When you move abroad, you lose connection. But you can also just create connection again. So it's kind of like, do we need to be close to each other? And again, in Denmark, compared to Costa Rica, South America, Sri Lanka, when you take those three areas, everybody lives together. Family, like father, mother lives with kids, lives with grandkids. In Denmark, we move abroad. Like, even though we're maybe 100 meters away from each other, we don't stay connected in the same way. They build their house on top of each other, right? So we're still not together. And I a lot of my friends, they don't see their grandparents like more than 3 times a year, even though they're living pretty close to each other. So what's the difference?
I found, at least when we went to Dominican Republic, people came and visited us, and then you would have a different quality time together.
Yeah.
So you might get a smaller group, but the people that you then actually stick together with, you have much better quality together because you have proper time. When people normally are like super busy, like when can you meet up, schedules, kids and everything, suddenly you have like a different experience.
But can I take, okay, so let me, and I don't know how you're going to cut this, but okay. Another way, there is no one in Sri Lanka that knows what I'm doing. So I've been spending the last 20 years just promoting companies, being tech entrepreneur, front of newspapers, doing everything. There's no one in Sri Lanka that knows anything about what I'm doing. They've never asked me, but they've asked me about which kind of music I like, why I go surfing, exercise routines, how my kids are, but nothing about my job. Nobody has asked me what I do. My best guess is if you ask my kids' friends' parents, they don't know what I do. They have no clue if I have a company or not, if I work for someone or if I don't, which means I'm totally free of that entire thing. So now I think about, okay, do I like go surfing? Do I like to lift heavy weights, or do I like to do something within music? I'm free. And that's weird, because if I met you in Copenhagen today on a bar in Cantina, I would ask you, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
within 10 seconds. I've been there for 1 year and 8 months. Nobody's asked me what I do. Jesus Christ. Wow.
That's very different.
Very different. They don't care.
So is it a very local community without expats, or how is it?
No, so there's no expats because there's no companies. But it's people who are working as solo entrepreneurs.
So people from around the world still?
Yeah.
Or
Primarily British people.
Okay.
But none of them, because there's no companies in the South where we live. So you can't be an expat. An expat is also kind of like an old used term, because now it's now you're an immigrant.
Yeah.
Expat is something you did back in the old money days.
Got it. But now it's more digital nomads.
Yeah, digital nomads, yeah. But a lot of them kind of have like a background, but you don't ask questions anymore. So if you went to Bali, you wanted to get connections. It's kind of like, are you a VC and who do you work for and so forth. Sri Lanka, nobody. It's kind of like it's I don't know what it is. There's something about Sri Lanka that's different from Bali, but maybe also because it's 1/3 of the price. Maybe it's because Sri Lanka is more an escape, where Bali is an option that you choose. You move to Bali because you have money, you have resources, you're starting a company, you're doing something. Sri Lanka is when you take a step back and then you build up through stealth mode and then you become yourself. So it's something new.
Yeah. So I was there, I think 8 years ago. I loved it. We were surfing and it was beautiful. People were amazing and it was stunning. How is the price level there now? If you want a villa with like 2-3 bedrooms, like
renting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want 3 rooms, it would be just around $600. But then you would have like patio views and a lot of space.
Yeah.
If you took it for 5 years, it would go down to $350.
Wow.
So it's super non-expensive. Then you have 5 minutes to the beach, you have the patio views, and you can be jungle side.
Yeah.
I think we're paying just around $750 right now and extending, but we're also going to buy, like we're going to see if we can do something locally.
Yeah. But it's harder to get ownership of property in Sri Lanka, as far as I could understand this as a foreigner.
Everything is difficult when you're working with like with the government that's already like always changing and things that are happening.
Yeah.
So everything is new.
Yeah.
But it becomes easier. So again, we're extremely lucky that now we're meeting with the president. We're meeting with the Ministry of Technology, setting up new VC funds, helping them get more people employed, helping them with their whole neighborhood shift. So everything is new. So then it's easier for us.
For sure. But so it sounds like it's still one of those places where you actually can live cheap. Because like if you go to Bali now, you can still get decent prices, but prices went up a lot. It goes to Costa Rica, that got really expensive.
Yeah.
Mexico also got more expensive.
Super expensive.
Dominican Republic, where I used to be, the prices there also went up a lot. We're going to Portugal now, and we found something nice, but it's still 2,000 euros a month.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good deal for what we're getting, but still a very big difference on having fixed costs for a house. And I think a lot of people are looking for like, how can you get that freedom where you don't have those high fixed costs that lock you into something you potentially don't want to do.
That's it.
What do you think if we meet up in 10 years' time? What would be something you would have reflected on or learned that you would like to know now?
Like, so I think it's going to be the same. I think my biggest reflection is I'm extremely grateful, happy, joyful that life doesn't end when a page turns. That there's several chapters in life. That I had this opportunity in an age of 40 to figure out life, and not in an age of 60, where it was not gone, because then I had 20 years left. But it seems late being 40, but it's not. Like when it comes to having a lifetime behind you and then having a life in front of you, again, being healthy, having good kids, having a good marriage. I think the thing that I'm going to reflect on is I hope that I can help more people in an earlier stage get to the realization about how life works in all these different chapters. Because I could have worked through the next 20 years, being an entrepreneur in Europe and the US, raising money for companies that I didn't care about, but I didn't. And now I'm surfing with my kid that's 11 in Sri Lanka, still creating tech companies, still doing something that is spectacular and loving it and being grateful. So I hope that the more people, and in 10 years, looking back, that I help more people do so. And I'm grateful that there's a lot of companies and people reaching out to me because they've seen the move and they're kind of like, we have the same, like we feel some kind of anxiety, depression, loneliness. We have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful house, beautiful boat, but we still feel alone, unsatisfied, and we don't know any fucking direction of what we're doing. I'm kind of like, I know. I've been there. So let's see if we can make that switch immediately because I know where it's coming from. It's hard. And you can't put a finger on it. I think that's the most important thing. You can't put a finger on it. You have everything.
But I see so many from the outside, super successful that reach their goals and they're like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
This is not happiness.
But there's so many dissatisfied people out there that has everything in life. If you look at it from the glance, and they don't know, like, again, they feel like they reached their goal, but they're just not satisfied. They're unhappy. And it feels ungrateful, but it's not, because it's the feeling they have. Like you can't put a label on someone that is not satisfied just because they have everything. If that's their feeling, hey, it's their feeling. Like you can't do anything. But what you can do is saying like, okay, where does it come from? And what have you tried on your own body, right?
Thanks, Mik. Time is running fast. I know you have a schedule. So thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.